Do I exalt myself? Do I promote myself? Do I justify myself? Do I downgrade myself? Do I demote myself? And do I condemn myself? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, it's likely you have sinful. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time, welcome. My name is Esther and I share faith-based content. You might also find, or you will also find, vlogs on the channel, and we give testimonies in the playlist titled Episodes of the Story of My Life. Happy new month, you guys. May March come with lots of celebrations and lots of blessings. As this month starts, I just want us to, or may the Lord help us that everything that we do and in every way that we live, we do so to the glory of His name and His kingdom. In today's video, we are focusing on pride, which I think is the root of every other sin. I'm not saying it's like bigger than every other sin, but I think it's the root of every other sin, because if you are prideful to spend time with God in prayer or just in His word, then definitely you'd find something else to do that does not magnify or glorify His name. Or if you are prideful to acknowledge God in every room you are, or in everything you do, then you're not humbling yourself, you're giving credit to yourself. So as usual, I have my notebook here, and I'll be reading a few things from here and a few notes from this phone too. So what I've written down is that pride is loving oneself above others and above God. So you are loving yourself first, then God. Esteeming importance in oneself, seeing yourself as the main reason why everything comes to pass. And then this is considered the most demonic and the root of all, like I said. Refusing to see God's sovereign role in everything and wanting to do everything on your own. Believing that you can achieve everything, believing that everything that you have written on your vision board can come to pass in your own power, in your own strength. That is a lie. That's being prideful, because in as much as we do need to have vision boards, we do need to have goals that we need to accomplish, but if anything, we need to pray over our vision boards. We need to give them, hand them over to God, so that God takes care of them. God helps us to complete our visions. God helps us to, complete our goals and bring everything to fulfillment, because I don't think we can. That's being selfish. If you can't give everything to God, if you can't pray about anything, like literally anything, even the smallest thing about like passing your test, if it's even small, to God, then I think that's being prideful. So I think we need to humble ourselves, because if the Bible also says humble yourself so that God will magnify you, I think we need to come to a point where we do not exalt ourselves, but rather exalt God and His name and His kingdom. Like I said, that everything we do is to the glory of His name and not to glorify our own names and our own images. So I think we need to come to a point where we acknowledge God in every room we walk in everything we do, in everything in every dream we have. We should ask God to help us complete these dreams. So I've also learned that pride is not only exalting yourself, it can also be downgrading yourself and putting others before or above you, And I have notes here where somebody actually said there are six different forms of pride in the Bible. It can be also a desire to be like God, which is in Isaiah 14, chapter 13 to 14. Or it can be moral self-righteousness, which is in Luke chapter 18, verse 11. It can be confidence in one's accomplishments. I think we have spoken about that, which is in Daniel 4, verse 28 to 37. It can be ambition of prominence, which is in Mark chapter 10, verse 35 to 45. And lack of teachability in Hebrews 13, verse 17. Pride is a grievous sin, and it's a grievous sin because it's deceptive. We deceive ourselves, and we actually do deceive ourselves, because if, let me say, you trust that you can do everything on your own. You can pass your test without even having to ask God for guidance. You can pass your test without even inviting the Spirit to be with you as you write your test. When you actually fail, then what? That's deceiving yourself. So somebody also said pride is giving credit to yourself, like we said before. When a person succeeds and gives himself credit, he is prideful. He's prideful, and God reminds us that every good thing comes from Him. Like everything that we receive, every blessing, that is why every blessing that we receive, I think we should turn it into praise, because it can only be God, guys. I don't think we can ever do anything out of our own power, let alone even just with your breath. You get your breath from God every day. So I think every morning when you wake up, thank God for giving you a new breath of life every morning. And then another one is self-promotion. Pride comes from welcoming credit from others. I think it's one thing I've spoken about to my friends. I don't know if I've spoken about it on the channel, where I was like, we need to be God conscious. There are times where there was a friend of mine that I used to study with, I think 2 years ago, and everything, like when we finished studying, like Bible studies, I would always say, oh, thank you, man, thank you, my guy, for teaching me. And he would always be like, all thanks to God. And I never understood why are you giving thanks to God if I'm thanking you for making time to teach me? And I think it's a thing of he's not accepting credit from other people, but rather allowing the credit from people be to God, because God gave him knowledge to teach other people. God gave him time to teach other people. God gave him health to be able to talk and give the word to other people. So instead of exalting himself, some let others exalt him, but accepting credit from others is another form of pride. And the third one is pride expects credit from God himself, self-justification. We should resist seeking applause from other people. For example, you do things, let me say I record every day because I want people to say, yo, Esther is really hard working, she's really giving the word, but I'm not doing it because I think in everything we should do it for God and not other people. Basically, that's the meaning, that's the word, that's the sentence I need to use. Let's stop seeking for approval from other people, but rather just wait for our victory. For our prize, which is in heaven. So in everything we do, let it be to the glory of God. The fourth one is self-degradation. Pride tears down himself. So I've learned that pride is not only exalting yourself, it's not only magnifying yourself, it's also downgrading or degrading yourself. And the person says, many don't expect to find pride in hearts when they are falling. In fact, people often view failure as an opportunity for humility, but there's a difference between breaking down, falling down, failing, and being prideful. So it's how do I say this? So it's basically like, since you're failing, then that's fine. I think if it's making sense. Since you're failing, you feel like you're humbling yourself. Since everything is not coming to pass, you can't get out of your comfort zone and work. That is being prideful, because you're not willing to do anything. Because God, or because a door has closed, on you, you don't get up to open another one. That is being prideful. I hope I'm making sense. So yeah, it's also downgrading yourself and being comfortable in failure or breaking down. The fifth one is self-demotion. Pride compares himself to others. I think this one also brings in envy and jealousy. That's how I said pride is the root of all other sins. So you're comparing your achievements and your accomplishments to other people, and the person says this is a fifth form of pride. Self-demotion is announcing that you have performed worse than others, thinking that convincing others that you are less or you have less compared to them. And this can actually bring envy and jealousy in ourselves. You argue in public that compared to others you are inferior. You create pity party for yourself because you think you don't have your mindset is not up there compared to other people. You can't contribute to godly discussions because you think you don't know as much as people do. That's being selfish. That's being comfortable in failure. Another, the last one is self-condemnation. Pride judges himself. So yeah, it's almost the same as the last one. You are judging yourself. It does not seek the affirmation, approval, and admiration of others. Instead, this form of pride occurs when a person condemns himself because he does not meet his own standard. Like I said, when you have your vision board or your prayer board or your prayer whatever, you need to give it to God, because if things on that vision board don't come to pass, then you feel like you were deceived. You feel so disappointed in yourself, and I think this is where the sixth form of pride comes in. So as we come to the end of this video, I think we should learn how to be humble and not comfortable in failure. So the virtue of pride is humility. That's acknowledging that everything comes from God, the talent, the provision, the health, the new breath of life, everything, passing your test, everything comes from God. And I think it's just being humble and thanking God for what He has provided for us. So you should ask yourself these 6 questions on the thoughts of pride. Do I exalt myself? Do I promote myself? Do I justify myself? Do I downgrade myself? Do I demote myself? And do I condemn myself? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, it's likely you have sinful pride. So replace your pride with God's glory. Replace your pride with being humble. Replace your pride with allowing yourself to get up from failure, allowing yourself to speak in public and contribute to anything that brings glory to the kingdom of God. Let yourself be loosened from the thoughts and the feeling of exalting yourself, the thoughts and the feelings of promoting yourself, giving yourself credit, and give glory to the name of God. So let's be humble and wait on God to magnify us. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves. I love you. God loves you. Goodbye.